is happening? Are
What?
we're live?
Are we live? Are we supposed to be talking right now, Nathan? Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It is Friday. If you haven't noticed, December 13th. We got a lot of stuff, but most importantly, we have Todd Caputo today. Man,
That was, I don't know what happened just now.
I hope somebody else is recording because I'm not. Who's playing the music?
Nathan.
Oh, Nathan's playing the music. See, this is what happens on a Friday.
That was probably the best intro to our podcast I think we've actually ever had.
Didn't feel like it to me. It didn't feel like
On
it
my
from
side,
my
it was magical.
Yeah,
On your side, it was stressful. I understand.
I don't even know what is happening around here. But there are 12 days till Christmas. We have Todd Caputo on the show today. We're going to bring him in a minute. He's in backstage just drinking coffee for the last 2 hours, like
Just
Chris Farley.
slamming coffee.
So we're going to pull him in a little bit. We're going to talk about Tekion-CDK Squabble. We haven't talked about that yet. We're also going to talk about maximizing the last 2 weeks of the year because I don't know if you've noticed, we've got 2 weeks left. We've been pumping out these webinars over the last few months, and we have another one coming up on Wednesday with our friends at AutomotiveMastermind. Basically, data-driven strategies, scaling service to sales processes. One of the coolest things is we actually have a practitioner. We have, who is it? Shannon Hannaran, GM at Chapman BMW Chandler BMW store. He is averaging 30 to 45 cars a month from service to sales at a BMW store. So there's a thing or two to learn from him. You can go to ASOTU.com, sign up for the webinar. You'll get the recording if you can't be there live, but please be there live because it's so much fun to have you in person. Also, next week, we need you to get a pen out right now, get a physical calendar, and circle it. Because on the 19th, that is Thursday, right? It's Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
We are having our 4th annual year-end extravaganza.
Oh,
We've done these for the last 3 years.
silly.
Always the different variety, but we're going to have a lot of guests, a lot of familiar faces, some new friends. Ryan Warman, Liza Borges, Letty Bozard, Ed Roberts, and a bunch of other people. And we got some writing going on. We have some different looks we're going to be having. We have a lot of people that want to say hello on the show. So it's always a fun hour. We can recap the year, have a little fun, get some insights going into the next year. So just circle your calendar. Do we have an event on LinkedIn yet? We probably do.
Yeah, we do. You can go to LinkedIn, hit that event. You'd be good to go.
Yeah,
Not a problem.
If you don't follow ASOTU on LinkedIn, that's where the conversations happen.
That's right.
All
Hey, speaking of events, we also have the NADAparties.com site.
Oh, you should say
and
that. Yep.
they're starting to fill up. Everybody's announcing their events. We'll get them all in there soon. They'll probably be, I don't know, last year I think there were 35 plus like night events that you could check out on there. So if you know of an industry partner or you're an industry partner that is having some sort of after party event, some night thing that people should go to, they can register for, they can get tickets, whatever it is, put it on there. It's going to be the home base for finding what you're going to be doing, planning your little schedule out. So, and we're having a party. We only have like 20 tickets left legitimately to this thing. That's all.
Gosh, how's Todd going to get?
Got to be there.
I'm just kidding. We got a ticket for all the ASOTU investors. Get it. We got it. All right, let's talk about some news.
Let's go.
The battle over dealership data is heating back up as Tekion has filed a federal antitrust lawsuit against CDK Global, claiming anti-competitive practices. CDK, however, is firing back, labeling the lawsuit as retaliatory and lacking merit. I think actually lacking substance was the word that they used in their little slapback. Tekion's lawsuit accuses CDK of abusing its control over dealer data to stifle competition in the DMS market. They're claiming, CDK is claiming the suit is retaliation for a cease-and-desist letter regarding Tekion's unauthorized access to CDK's systems.
Interesting.
Yeah, a spokesperson for CDK called the lawsuit a marketing stunt and has emphasized its history of facilitating dealer and vendor data transfers. Tekion citing CDK's initial refusal to share data with Asbury Automotive Group as an example of anti-competitive behavior. A court ruled back in October that CDK must provide Asbury with data for the pilot of Tekion systems following delays by CDK. So,
so if you aren't familiar, basically
real back and forth.
Asbury came out this summer and said, hey, we're piloting. I think there was a couple articles about it. Someone find out. They've got 4 stores that are going to pilot Tekion. And, it's like, obviously, when you're a massive organization like that and all the roll-ups, all the changes, there's a lot to kind of pilot, figure out if it's going to work. And I think this is something that is still kind of on the chopping block for automotive retail. Like, where does the data sit? Who owns the data? How easy is it to get in and out? You know, and I understand like both sides of the equation, right? From like the partner side and the dealer side. But this is kind of like an interesting shot across the bow, especially from a Tekion that's been building over the last 5 to 6 years, I think it is, in the market, and kind of like, you know, the competition has now been heated up type thing.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see what happens with it. I don't have much more other than like, hey, look, play nice because it comes around.
Yeah. And I mean, I think from a marketing standpoint, it's only like Tekion only has something to gain here.
Yep.
You know, like it's kind of like if you're in Tekion's seat, like they can only win from this being in the public eye. And so CDK has to be really smart, and they're being as smart as they can about how they navigate this. In the end, like you said, it's like we have to think about the consumer and what's best for them. There are laws and things that have to be followed, and in the end, the courts will decide who's following them and who needs to change.
Yikes.
All right.
Well,
I think that is a
let's
perfect
just
time.
go to the next thing, Paul.
Let's bring Todd Caputo into the show. Todd coming at us from sunny North Carolina. We gave him a little call this morning. We're always like, Todd, you want to be on the show? We have some things that we need you to talk about. And he throws on his Batman costume, which is, it looks like your Sun Auto Group retro vintage
Used car king,
t-shirt.
baby.
Used car king. Thanks for being with us today.
So this DMS thing, right? Like, who owns the data? It belongs to dealers. It's our data. And it's just unbelievable that these conversations are still even happening. So if you're ever going to sign any kind of agreement with any vendor, whether it's a DMS or anybody else, like, really go through your master service agreement, like really, really, really carefully, right? And if you don't like things, you redline it. They're either going to keep you as a customer or not, but redline the hell out of it. I mean, that's kind of where it starts. You know, it's our data at the end of the day. I mean, that's all I have to say.
There you go. Well,
there you go.
Let's talk about this new ChatGPT feature that was released. You've been using ChatGPT like every day of your life. You probably like put it by your bedside and you're like, all right, good night, buddy. And it's like, good night, Todd.
My family had a t-shirt made with the ChatGPT logo that says Todd GPT.
No, they didn't.
I should have wore it. If I'd known you were talking about it, I would have wore it today.
I know.
Todd GPT.
I got your family Christmas card. I was like, who is that other person in there? It's like, oh, it's ChatGPT. Todd adopted it. But so basically, OpenAI announced yesterday that they didn't announce, they released it. You can have it if you have GPT, especially Pro on your phone right now. ChatGPT can see, they introduced a live video input and screen sharing capability during its day 6 live stream event. Users can now analyze and discuss visual contexts in real time through a new video icon in the mobile app. It's available on Plus, Pro, and Team subscribers. Basically, you can show it what you're looking at, and it will tell you, it'll interact. It will make suggestions. It'll probably tell jokes. Have you used it yet, Todd?
No, but I can think of a lot of use cases for the car business. That's for sure.
Go ahead. Give us one.
Right. So I'm a customer and I walk into a dealership or I pull in and I show ChatGPT where I am. It will give me reviews automatically of the dealership. Right. Maybe I can walk around a particular car and ChatGPT will tell me all the features of the car, any reviews from customers. Maybe someday someone smart, maybe it'll be me, I'll invent it. Right. So if you're at the auction and you're walking around a car or you want to do an appraisal on a car, and you can use it and then walk up to the VIN number and pull the VIN number off the car and then just get the values of the car, where it should be priced retail, what it's worth wholesale. Like my mind is just like going and going and going.
I imagine
like,
I mean, imagine an app that has GPT vision included in it, where like it connects to the OBD2 scanner, right? Which we already have apps in the auto industry that do this. And then you just do like a video walk around inside, outside, and it starts to tell you like, oh, this is an anomaly. Oh, that's what you should.
Wheel damage.
You know, this basically like creates its own CR on the car, right there.
The seams don't line up. Check for paint work. Like little UVI tech. Oh, this is actually, with all the tech that's available, right? This is like all the ingredients are on the table to make this cake.
Yep.
Sure.
You're exactly right.
And also to more power to the consumer, which means as a dealer, you have to have people that are very well trained, that really know your product, whether it's new or used, because customers coming in, if they use this kind of technology, which they all will, because it's all built into our phones now. So everybody's going to get smarter. You just really got to be on your game as far as I'm concerned.
You know, one thing this is kind of bringing to mind, and this really doesn't have to do with the video. Like you could do this by taking a picture and uploading it. I wonder if any consumers, like you're at the closing table and you upload the contract and the docs and you ask GPT, you're like, is there anything, I'm buying this car, what questions should I be asking about this contract? Like that can happen right now.
That can definitely happen right now.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if anyone's done that yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of F&I guys going, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
look,
it's good because no
guarantee
retail
that's
people listen to the
happening
show, but
I guarantee that's happening already. We may not know about it, but
on the spot I'm talking about, right?
just like right in front of them.
Can you send me a PDF of that contract you have on that DocuPad real quick?
Yeah. Also, tell me tell me what I should be doing to negotiate this into a better deal, and where are the blind spots that I'm missing, right?
Actually, actually, you just turn on advanced voice, and you're like, "This is my negotiator. He's going to ask you questions. You can respond to him."
That's like, but that's really coming. Because also, like, remember that GPT is trained on Reddit very deeply.
That's right.
You start thinking about the threads, about dealers, about negotiations, about pricing, about availability on Reddit right now.
Who are those two guys? Who's that father-son duo out of New Jersey or wherever they are?
The Car Data guys or whatever.
Car Data, is that what it is? They should be all over this.
Oh my goodness.
And if they heard it here, because they interact with our stuff.
But this is like, but now you think about, like 8 years ago, we were like, oh, now all your prices are online, so you got to be transparent, right?
Absolutely. It was like a freak out moment. What are we going to do?
The level of necessity of understanding like the references to your dealership or your dealership's name, if you're not tracking that across social platforms with some sort of like SEO tracker where mentions are out there, like it goes so much deeper now, because everything that is relevant gets surfaced so much more quickly into these large language models than even just like a regular Google search could.
I think this just highlights the fact that all of the other things that aren't about exactly the sales process, negotiating, like the human side of your business, the experience side of your business, the marketing and brand side of your business, the company culture side of your business, all of that stuff becomes so much more important, because what happens when you get into a negotiation or when you start to approach the price conversation, people are already nervous. Like relationship is the thing that like smooths the way, and building up some relational equity and trust in the brand and the business takes the temperature down several notches from the beginning. So you don't already start like with everybody with their body armor on. The more of the body armor you can get to take off before you get to that point is the benefit.
That's wild.
So it'll take a little bit of time for what we're talking about to become mainstream for people to start using it on their phones, because we're just like in version 1. Like this is Atari as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and so many people don't even like.
They don't know, but they
don't
will
know anything about it. Yeah,
they will, right? And once they start to use this and learn the power of having any kind of GPT or artificial intelligence on their phone, it's going to be a game changer for not just the car business, but for any business. That's why I think, right? Like, you know, you're a business owner, you really got to be sharpening your axe and really, really spending some time and money and effort on training your people, not just in your product, but also in communicational skills, emotional intelligence, things like that, because it's going to be extremely, extremely important going forward, which, you know, I think that's one of the reasons why you guys want to have me on today, right? Like, what are we going to talk about for 2025 and prepping? Because there's only a couple weeks left. And I don't want to lead the show, but
no,
like, this is a perfect lead into
that's exactly where we were
us.
going next. You got 2 weeks left. What are you doing, your dealer?
So, I mean, let's think about it. So first of all, we should really be looking back on 2024. And if you're a leader in your store, you should be doing this with all the people that report to you, right? how did you do in whatever position they have in the dealership? People want to know how they did, whether they did a good job or a bad job. So
Hmm.
performance appraisals need to be going on like right now if you haven't done them already. I think that's important. Goal setting for every single person in the organization. And I'm not just talking about people that sell cars or people in the service lane. I'm talking about even people that work out in the lot. Like, you can teach them to be better, right, at what they do, but they have to be coached, and you have to like really work with them and set expectations for the year ahead because like we said, 2025 is going to be a good year in the car business, probably going to be a very good year, but margins are going to get thinner. I don't care what anybody says, there will be demand, and you have to be on your game. So performance appraisals, planning for next year. And the last thing I will tell you is like lead follow-up is going to be really, really important because right now you get a lot of people that are shopping. They're not ready to buy a car because
Right.
Santa Claus is more important, right? We're waiting on tax return money, which doesn't usually come till January, February, March. So we're shopping now.
Yeah.
So that lead that you get in December still might be very valid in February or March.
Yeah.
So I think long-term lead follow-up, at least I know with my stores, like we paid very close attention to that. And there's a lot of AI now that can help with some of that stuff too from some really good vendors in the industry. So like those for me are like the top three.
I think that's a huge thing. Like it's not a 7-day buying cycle right now. Once you get that lead, like it's definitely significant, especially you get a lead right now, like the chances of that person really looking at buying in the week after Christmas are extremely high. So what's your cadence as you're heading up to the holiday? I think is going to be really important, and not just waiting on whatever happens during that week.
Sure. And Paul, you know this too, right? Because you worked with me when I was a dealer and you had, with your agency, you celebrate, right? Like this is a great time of year to just celebrate the success of the year, have family involved. I mean, hopefully you're all having holiday and Christmas parties at your dealerships or off site. You're giving people recognition in all different departments of the dealership of the job that they did, how long that they've worked there for, how much they've improved. Telling those stories, celebrating the successes of, the dealership as a whole and, individuals that work in the store. And then also, if you're planning on making major capital improvements in your dealership or you're planning on expanding or any kind of things that you have planned as a leader for 2025, make sure your people know, right? Like it gives them a reason to be excited that, hey, we're going to be putting an
Set the
addition on the
vision.
building. Or we're going to be remodeling, right? Or we're going to invest in this and invest in that. So if they're thinking about maybe leaving, which, it happens, a lot of people get poached in this industry, they'll think, wait a minute, we got a lot of things going on in 2025. I'm going to ignore that recruiter. I'm not going to look in Indeed anymore. Like I'm going to be really excited and optimistic about 2025 because my dealer, my general manager, the partner, whatever, they're investing in this business. They're investing in me. So that's
awesome.
Well,
me all caffeined up this morning, guys.
I mean,
Let's go.
I love it. I love it. I mean, that's why we have you on the show, to bring up the things that we weren't thinking about so that everyone could be thinking about them. Todd, thanks for joining us today. Whether you're out there, take some of that advice. Get out there and start planning the end of the year.